Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from DisgruntledDave, and he's in the Massachusetts. A tier 8 US battleship. He's on the map Crash Zone Alpha, in a 3-point domination game. It's a tier 8 battle, which is pretty lovely. There is no carrier. And you might realize he's set fire already. That's because he had high explosive loaded in his first salvo. Probably a mistake. I mean, it happens when you shoot high explosive in your last battle and then you load in a new one and you forgot all about it. But he has since switched to armor piercing, and there is a broadside cruiser here. Maybe something fun will happen. Or he just gets one ricochet. I guess that's also a possibility. Now overall, the friendlies have taken the B cap, the enemies have taken the A cap. We have some friendly ships here hiding out at H1. I mean, there are quite a few enemies, but like they should just... Those guys should probably just retreat. And again, there might be some reinforcements coming. We will see. The main fight seems to be around the C cap, with a large enemy force moving there and, well, some friendlies. Now, DisgruntledDave here is probably trying to set up a flanking shots here from inside B. We don't know where, like, the New Mexico and the Galician are going. I would assume they're all pushing into C. We will see. Now, secondaries are opening up on the Huang He. And, oh, he's no longer detected. And there might be an opportunity to sneak some shells into this cruiser. And an overpen. So far, luck hasn't been with Dave. But you know, we're still early into the fight. And there goes one friendly. Now, what he has to decide here is how he wants to handle. I mean, I guess he could also go down the south to help, but he probably wants to help around the sea cap. So, how does he approach it? He needs to pass this island, and then he could like set up a position here. Might just be strong. Depends on what the New Mexico is doing. It looks like he might just be waiting if the New Mexico appears. He could try to clear out the New Mexico and the Galician and then coming from here. He has to be careful because at some point the enemies from A might arrive. I don't think that the friendlies will win this fight in the south. Oh, come on, you have to do something. And it looks like he's starting to move again. I feel like he was still waiting for the New Mexico to appear here or something. Or maybe he is just conferring with his division mate. But the time push has arrived. And, well, there might just be a few broadsides in the near future. There's definitely a lot of brawling and quite a few secondary hits. There you go, Nagato broadside. And I mean, he has his trusted here. And now the New Mexico appears. Isn't it always like that? Was waiting for this guy to show up, probably. And the moment he gets moving, New Mexico shows up. But you know, that New Mexico for now will be ignored. There is an enemy blob to push. Now the enemy, nicely enough, is blobbing up here quite heavily. I guess the friendlies are too. But that means that, well, actually both teams have sort of flanking positions here. The New Mexico is still behind an island because the New Mexico is a bit outgunned. And yeah, the A cap has been firmly won by the enemy. The two friendlies here are in retreat. So what the friendly team now needs to do is they need to sink all of the enemies here rather quickly so that they can afterwards go back and defend B. And he's keeping an eye on this New Mexico, but deciding that the enemies at the C cap need to go first. And yeah, that Nagato is on very low health. The secondaries are working on it. And those shells might just do the trick.
Enemy battleship destroyed.
Now, there is also still a destroyer around, and that could be a little bit awkward.
The ship is on fire.
The friendlies do not really have anything to detect this destroyer. Oh, a destroyer is spotted. I was just saying the friendlies don't have a way to really spot the destroyer, but it looks like he's showing himself. And like this is, why is he actually visible? Oh no, smoke disappeared. So that's just the remnants of a disappearing smoke. I guess the destroyer overstayed his welcome there. And it looks like he didn't have corpse ray, which is a plus. Next, broadside Baltimore. And down goes Baltimore. You know, they are doing a pretty good job of cleaning up the sea candy. Unfortunately, the friendlies are currently without any apps that they control. And the enemy has like a 300 points lead. But you know, there is still enough time to turn this around, hopefully.
The ship is on fire.
Now, the enemy team has arrived at the center, but they are a little bit late there. And this is also like a very nice broadside the New Mexico is showing. Now, he could technically already turn around here and push towards those guys, but turning around means showing complete broadside during the turn, and you see, yeah, he already maybe shot a little bit too much side there. Squishy cruiser or broadside battleship, I think both are good choices. He's trying to go for the Huang, yeah, I suppose. And not quite enough lead there. Massachusetts shells aren't the fastest. If you don't play Massachusetts that often, you often get, well, you find that your aim might be a little bit off, I suppose. Well, I mean, the secondaries might actually be enough to finish the Tuangye. And there you go.
Enemy cruiser foundered.
Well, New Mexico is still broadside for some reason. And on the bright side, the friendlies are finally getting a cap again. On the less bright side, the guns are not really that helpful right now. So yeah, I think he really should turn around at this point, and I suppose he agrees. It's still like that. There is always the possibility when you turn that an enemy sneaks shells into your broadside, but it's not like anyone is currently aiming at him, it looks like. And you really wanna get your secondaries going again. He's still also reasonably healthy, he's top tier battleship. And he wants to be back at the front line. Now, points-wise, the friend is still 300 points behind and the enemy still has more camp. Like, the enemy team should play this rather passive at this point, I think. And it's... well, it's 8.5 minutes remaining. So... what the enemy team, well, like the enemy team still has a destroyer, but they don't really have a sneaky top boat, and that's good, because that would be rather problematic to deal with for the friendlies, I would say. And with like all the enemies, well, not all the enemies, right? There is still one battleship missing. I just realized, you know, there is 2 enemy battleships remaining, but we can only see the tirpitz, and there is no last spotted oh, they detonated the destroyer. Yeah, I have a feeling the enemy team has lost this.
Torpedoes to port.
And again, like, there is one ship remaining that we don't know the location of, and it's a battle. How can a battleship not be like? Is he AFK? At this point, I'm just assuming that the last remaining enemy is AFK. Now, meanwhile, it looks like we're getting more broadside cruisers. There is a Confederate. And, well, one less enemy. Well, let's see how it looks like the Gorizia decided that he doesn't want to be here. And he definitely doesn't want to show as much broadside, I guess. Now, tier pits could be a bit of a problem if he gets in torpedo range. Like, torpedo range of tier pits is 6 km, but if you're sailing towards the tier pits, like, you can launch them before and you might just end up sailing into them. Like, there could be torps coming this way right now. I wouldn't be surprised. But the tier pits is down. DisgruntledDave is reasonably angled if there are torps arriving.
Torpedoes to starboard.
But it doesn't even look like there are. Okay, so, well, there is a Gorizia left. The enemy team has still a points lead, and it's now 6 minutes. So you see, if the enemy had played this more passive and just, like, kited the friendlies and played for time, maybe they could have gotten away with it. But like, they are going to sink this Gorizia. The Fushun will soon enter the B cap, and with that, the enemy's fate is sealed. Although they still have an probably AFK battleship. I can't really imagine that anyone actually playing the game in a battleship is not spotted for 15 minutes. Then again, you know, considering how passive some battleships are, maybe. Okay, so now we definitely speed this up quite a bit. Because, you know, and you see enemy is still quite a bit of a lead and 4.5 minutes because the friendlies were so late in getting the caps. But now, I mean, 4 minutes. If that battleship like charged in and sank 2 ships, oh, maybe there would be a chance for him to turn it around. Like, the friendlies are certainly all rushing, and there is the enemy is moving.
Our victory is in sight.
So, well, obviously full health, but he was moving. Like, this is not the spawning position where he's coming from. And but how? Why? He's shooting his guns. He's not AFK. I mean, maybe he sailed there and then he had a crash and came back. If this guy, like, joined the fight earlier, there's a reasonable chance that the enemies might have just, like, won this. But hey. It's like, he managed to sink something, didn't he? See, if it managed to sink another one, they would probably have won. And here we are with the results. DisgruntledDave earned himself 1,718 base experience. There wasn't a lot of experience to go around in this one, it looks like. But, you know, there was a very amazing brawl for cap, and it was a pleasure to watch. Dave achieved the Bane of the Oceans, and that's a medal you get for, I think, earning 100 heroic battle achievements. So he's probably still a rather new player. Also got the Devastating Strike, a Confederate 2 close quarters expert, and a Kraken. And you know what? It was a pretty good performance, especially if he hasn't been playing for all that long. It had a very nice brawl, so I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you guys next time.